It all starts with a 14-year-old girl named Sara, sitting alone in a park, quietly reading, when suddenly, it begins to rain. But she doesn't move. She doesn't run for shelter. She just sits there, letting the rain fall over her. And then, out of nowhere, a 22-year-old man walks up to her and offers her cover. Moments later, we see Sara walking away with him, and just like that, the scene fades into the storm. 8 years pass. Now we see a young woman working in a cafe. Calm on the outside, but something feels off. At a nearby table, a group of guys are laughing, talking about an old rape case, even watching videos about it. Sara notices. She steps outside, sits down, and takes a deep breath, because the girl they're talking about is her. She tries, every single day, to move on, to escape her past. But some memories don't leave. They settle deep inside you, like something broken that never fully heals. Sara now lives with her boyfriend, Yuhu. He knows about her past, but he avoids it, keeps telling her to forget it. Move on. Start fresh. He asks her to meet his family, again and again. And every single time she makes an excuse, because she's still trapped in something she can't escape. Then we're pulled back into the past. Sara is asleep, deeply asleep, like she hasn't rested in years. When she wakes up, that same man is sitting in front of her. His name is Sid. They look at each other in silence, and then Sara softly asks, "Do you have something to eat?" He offers her ice cream, and as she eats, she opens up. She tells him about her father's death, about how her mother ran away with another man, leaving her behind. She tells him she's been living with her aunt, but she doesn't want to go back. Not anymore. She asks him, with complete innocence, if she can stay. Sid nods. Gently. Even though deep down he knows it's not that simple. Back in the present, Sara visits an antique shop with her friend Yuna. There's a cafe upstairs. They're laughing, talking. Sara even mentions she might get married soon. But then, she feels it. A presence. She looks up and freezes. It's him. Sid. This cafe belongs to him. For a moment, time stops. Sara can't believe it. But Sid doesn't recognize her. Or at least, it seems like he doesn't. From that day on, Sara keeps going back to that cafe. Not to talk. Not to be seen. Just to look at him. She even lies to Yuhu, saying she has a part-time job. But one day, she gets caught. Yuhu calls the shop, only to find out she had already left hours ago. Something feels wrong to him. When Sara tells Yuna, her friend just shrugs it off. Says, he cares about you. He has a good job. Stability. You should just marry him. But Sara stays silent, because she doesn't even understand her own feelings anymore. That same night, she goes back to the cafe again. Orders coffee. Sits quietly. Sid brings her order. And once again, she says nothing. Then we're taken back again. 3 days have passed. Sara has been staying at Sid's place. They've shared moments, conversations, silence, trying to understand each other. But then, Sara sees something on TV. A missing person report. Her face. She panics. Sid immediately turns it off. She tells him she doesn't want to go back. But she's scared the police might catch him. Sid looks at her and says, "I'm not afraid of the police. I'm afraid of the truth. Because if it comes out, everything will change." And that's when Sara reveals something even darker. Her aunt's 19-year-old son had been abusing her every single day. And every time she heard a door open, her body would freeze in fear. After hearing this, Sara moves closer to Sid. And they sit together, quietly eating ice cream. Back in the present, Sara is at the cafe again. But this time, Yuhu shows up. She's shocked. "How did you find this place?" she asks. He tells her the truth. "You come here every day pretending it's work. So, I thought maybe I should come too." But Sara's face says everything. She's not happy to see him. Yuhu notices. "You've changed," he says. "You don't even respond to me anymore." Sara quietly replies, "I don't want to leave this place right now." He goes silent, pays the bill, and they leave together. But behind them, Sid watches. And now we know, he knew she was there all along. He just chose not to reopen old wounds. Later that night, Yuhu tries to get close to Sara, but she refuses. And just like that, cracks begin to form in their relationship. Before sleeping, Sara remembers the very first time she met Sid. That rainy day. He asked her why she wasn't going home, and she said, "Because I don't want to go back." Then he asked, "Do you want to come with me?" And she nodded. The next day, she stood outside his cafe. All day. But couldn't step inside. That night, when Sid closed the cafe, he saw her again. Standing there. In the rain. He wasn't alone this time, another girl was with him. Sara followed him. All the way to his house. But still, she couldn't say a word. And as she walked back, through the dark, empty streets, one memory hit her like a storm. The day the police took Sid away. She was screaming, crying, begging. But they didn't listen. They took him anyway. And that was the moment everything changed. When Sara gets back home, she finds Yuhu sitting on the floor, crying. His grandmother is critically ill. They have to leave immediately. Without thinking twice, Sara packs her things, and they head to the village. When they arrive, Yuhu's family welcomes her with warmth. They smile, they laugh, they already like her. But then Sara hears something that shakes her. Yuhu's grandmother has one final wish, to see her grandson get married before she dies. Sara walks into the bathroom, turns on the tap, and starts washing her face over and over again, like she's trying to erase something. That's when Yuhu's little sister walks in and asks her something chilling. "Does my brother hit you too?" Sara freezes. The girl continues, saying he's raised his hand on every girlfriend he's ever had. Sara has no answer. Days later, after they return home, Sara's friends show her something online. A social media post. Someone has brought up her old case again, and this time, Yuhu's current address is listed in it. Sara's heart drops. She doesn't want her past to destroy another life. She runs home. But just as she's leaving, Yuhu arrives. He stops her. "Where are you going?" Sara looks at him, confused, terrified. "How do you know my name like that?" And in that silence, she understands everything. He posted it. He exposed her. The argument that follows is explosive. And for the first time, Yuhu shows his real face. The one he had been hiding for years. He hits her. Again and again, until she's covered in blood. And then he forces himself on her. But this time, Sara doesn't stay quiet. She fights back. She strikes him on the head and runs. Now you might think she'd run to a friend, but no. Her feet already know where to go. To the one place where she once felt safe. Sid. As she runs through the night, memories flood back. The day the police came for him. They couldn't understand why an abducted girl didn't want to go home. Now it's late. Sara stands outside Sid's house, trembling, unable to knock. She curls up near the door, holding herself together. And then, the door opens. Sid stands there and asks her the same question he once did. "Do you want to come with me?" Sara looks up, smiles faintly, and nods. Inside, Sid cleans her wounds, gives her water, and that's when she breaks down. "I'm sorry," she says. "I couldn't tell the police that you never hurt me. I couldn't tell them the truth about my aunt's son. You suffered because of me." Her voice shakes as she apologizes for everything. Sid gently places his hand on her head. "You didn't do anything wrong," he says softly. "You were just a child." Time passes, quietly. Sara falls asleep mid-conversation, without even realizing it. A few days later, Sara rents a room in the same building. She wants to stay close to Sid, because with him, she finally feels safe. They begin spending time together again. But Sara knows there's someone else in his life. And when she asks about it, Sid says nothing. One day, she asks him, "What was I like as a child?" Sid smiles faintly. "You were lively, full of energy, just like any other kid." And now she's not. Then Yuna comes back into Sara's life. She's a single mother now, divorced, drifting from one relationship to another, hoping someone will accept her and her daughter. Before leaving for a trip with another man, she leaves her daughter, Shania, with Sara. Slowly, the little girl grows close to her. She learns how to live, even without her mother around. One evening after dinner, Sara asks Sid about his time in prison. He tells her he got released early for good behavior. But when he came home, his own family didn't believe him. They locked him away, treated him like a criminal. Until one day, he left everything behind and came to the city. Sara hears the pain in his voice. And once again, she apologizes. But the past doesn't stay buried for long. One day, out of nowhere, Yuhu shows up outside her building. He grabs her, tries to force her to come back home. Sara resists. But then he says something strange. "I've forgiven you. Now come back." Sara looks at him, confused. For what? And his answer is horrifying. For loving a man who did such disgusting things to you as a child. Because Sara never told the truth. The world still believes the lie. But this time, she doesn't stay silent. "At least he never hit me," she says. That sentence hits Yuhu hard. But because they're in public, he holds himself back. Sara breaks down right there in the open. Meanwhile, Yuna hasn't called. Not once. And Shania's health starts getting worse. Sara is worried, but she has to go to work. So she leaves Shania with Sid. One day, the little girl wakes up, missing her mother. She walks up to Sid, who's sitting quietly, reading a book. Books had become his only escape in prison. She looks at him and asks, "Don't you get bored reading all day?" Sid smiles faintly. "Yeah, sometimes." "Then what do you do?" He pauses. "I think about someone I lost a long time ago." Now the little girl's mind fills with questions, hundreds of them, and Sid answers each one calmly, patiently. Then she asks something unexpected. "Was she your first love?" Sid pauses and then laughs. The little girl grins, mischievously. "Come on, tell me." "I won't tell Sara." And just like that, they both start laughing. In that moment, it feels like everything the world believes about him couldn't be further from the truth. But peace like this never lasts. One day, reporters suddenly show up at Sara's place. Someone has uploaded photos of her, Sid, and the little girl online with a shocking caption. It claims that the girl who was kidnapped 9 years ago has now fallen in love with her own rapist. And worse, she's doing the same thing to her friend's daughter. In an instant, her life collapses. Sara rushes home and tells Sid everything. Her voice shakes as she says, "Sometimes I just want to run away, far from here, somewhere it's just you and me and silence." But the world doesn't stay silent. The news spreads like wildfire. Everywhere Sara goes, people judge her, whisper about her. Her cafe gets shut down. She loses her job. And now she has no idea how she's going to survive. With nowhere else to turn, she goes back to Yuhu. Because deep down, she knows he's behind all of this. When the door opens, Yuhu looks different. Broken. He's quit his job, drowning in jealousy, slowly destroying himself from the inside. He says a lot of things, but this time, none of it affects Sara. And he realizes that. The moment she leaves, he slits his own wrist. Sara hears something, turns back, and rushes to him. She calls an ambulance. Even after everything, she still saves him. At the same time, another truth begins to unfold. A girl named Yumi, the one Sid never talked about. She loved him. But after seeing the news, reading everything written about him, she comes to his house, desperate for answers. "Is it true?" she asks. "Did you really do those things?" Sid looks at her and says yes. Her world shatters. She breaks down, crying uncontrollably. But the truth is, Sid is lying. He doesn't want his name tied to hers, doesn't want her life destroyed because of him. So he chooses to become the villain in her story. Then she asks him one last question. "Is that why you never came close to me?" Sid lowers his eyes. "I'm sorry. I just used you." That one sentence breaks her completely. And she walks away. Now, everything is falling apart. Yuhu's jealousy has destroyed lives once again. A neighbor files a police complaint, saying Sid was seen with a child, that he might have kidnapped her. Without knowing the truth, people start pointing fingers. And then the police arrive. They take Shania away. She screams, cries, calls out for Sid. He's a good man. He didn't do anything. But no one listens. Not the police. Not the world. To them, he's already guilty. Once again, he's stained with the same accusation, the same darkness he spent his entire life trying to erase. When Sara hears this, she runs to his house and finds him sitting in a corner, broken, crying uncontrollably. She apologizes again, because ever since she came back into his life, everything he ran away from has followed him back. And even now, she feels helpless. She turns to leave, but something inside Sid snaps. For the first time in 35 years, he reveals the truth he's hidden from everyone. He begins to take off his clothes, and what Sara sees changes everything. His body never fully developed. Parts of him, even his most private parts, are like that of a newborn child. That's why he never let anyone get close. That's why he stayed alone, silent, distant from the world. Not because he was dangerous, but because he felt broken, different, unworthy. And for the first time, he shares that pain with someone. Sara doesn't step back. She doesn't run. She holds him tightly and finally understands everything he's been carrying all these years. She tells him, "It's going to be okay. We'll go somewhere far away, somewhere no one knows us." That night, after years, Sid finally sleeps peacefully, and Sara sits beside him, watching. It's the exact opposite of the first morning she ever woke up in his house. Back then, she found peace. And now she's giving it back to him. But there's one question left. Should Sara finally tell the truth? Should she go to the police and reveal that 9 years ago, Sid did nothing wrong? Because maybe if she had spoken back then, none of this would have happened. Or is she still afraid that telling the truth might destroy everything all over again? What do you think?